Our story begins with Matias, an ordinary boy on his way to apply for his magical academy. As he walked, he suddenly sensed the presence of a beast. He alerted the coachman, who scoffed and said, "What beast? We're in a populated area. There's no way a monster could reach us." But in an instant, a massive creature attacked them. It was on the verge of killing them all, until Matias leapt forward and slew the beast with his own hands.
No way!
The coachman stood frozen, stunned by what had just occurred. But worry not, dear friend, you'll come to understand everything in time. Soon after, Matias arrived at the city and began to explore. He made his way to a blacksmith to purchase a weapon. There he noticed a girl speaking with the smith saying, "Please, repair my sword quickly. The academy entrance exams begin tomorrow, and I must return it to its owner." But the blacksmith replied, "That's impossible right now. To repair this sword, I need someone to channel magic into it, and it's nearly impossible to find someone capable at this hour," she pleaded desperately, leaving the blacksmith unsure of what to do, until Matias stepped forward and said, "I'll provide the magic you need to repair her sword." The smith responded, baffled, "Son, that's impossible. You bear the quad sigil, the mark of failure. And even if somehow you can supply the magic, repairing this sword would take at least 2 days." The girl interrupted eagerly, "I accept." The blacksmith stared in disbelief and said, "Then it's not my responsibility anymore. If you lose your jewel, don't blame me," she replied with confidence. "I trust him." They sat and introduced themselves formally. Her name was Alma, and she was trying to fix the sword for her friend Lori. Speaking of Lori, she arrived at that moment, glowing like the moon. The moment Matias saw her, he was clearly captivated. He nervously introduced himself, and she responded with similar shyness. Alma turned to Lori and said, "This is the one who will repair your sword." Lori's face lit up with joy. Then the blacksmith handed Matias the sword and said, "Now show me how you'll fix it." Matias smiled and replied, "Watch and learn, old man." He focused his energy onto the weapon, and in less than a second declared, "Done." The two girls were stunned. "Done with what? You didn't even touch it," they exclaimed. But Matias calmly replied, "Try it before you speak." Lori lifted the sword and, in one swift motion, sliced through a wooden beam. Their eyes widened in amazement. Matias was extraordinary. The blacksmith, now thoroughly impressed, said, "Please, work for me." But Matias politely declined. Days passed quickly, and the long-awaited entrance exams finally arrived. After several preliminary tests, it was time for the duels to assess combat ability. Lori wielded her newly restored sword and defeated her opponent in mere seconds. Victorious, she turned to Matias and thanked him for the incredible weapon. Then the examiner called out Matias's name. It was his turn to fight. He stepped into the arena and was surprised to see his opponent. "Where's my match? Don't tell me. You're the captain of the knights?" he asked. The captain replied, "Since you're the son of Castor, you must face a worthy opponent. Don't worry. If I'm impressed by your skills, I'll allow you to pass the remaining exams." Fury sparked in Matias's eyes. "Let's go," he snapped, charging with all his might. The captain deflected the first attack with ease, but Matias smirked, retaliated, and disarmed him in a blink. The captain fell, defeated. Matias was declared the winner. Alma and Lori were overjoyed, and with the duel complete, it was time for the magic exam. Lori stepped forward, tasked with destroying 5 targets. She began chanting, and one by one, shattered the targets. But Matias watched, unimpressed. He noticed she was using a verbal incantation, which was slow and easy to predict. Lori finished, and everyone applauded her combat sigil, known as the Sigil of Glory. Then the examiner called the next participant, Matias. He entered the arena, and the examiner sneered at his quad sigil. "Don't be upset if you fail," he mocked. "There are other tests. You might pass one of them." Matias calmly said, "Just step aside. I wouldn't want you to get hurt." Perplexed, the examiner obeyed. At that moment, Matias activated a powerful spell without uttering a single word. The arena erupted in a magical explosion, leaving the audience speechless. Matias had passed, with overwhelming success. Later, he donned the academy uniform, preparing for the entrance ceremony. Lori too arrived, radiant in her uniform. Alma noticed the exchange and teased, "Should I leave and go have tea then?" The students gathered in the ceremony hall, and the headmaster took the stage for his opening speech. "This academy does not recognize social status nor sigils," he declared. "Only skill. Prove yourself, and you will rise. That is all." As he turned to leave, he paused. "Matias," he called out, "come to my office after the ceremony." Panic struck Matias. "What did I do? Am I getting expelled already?" he wondered. Suddenly, the headmaster's voice came from behind. "Come in." Inside, the headmaster began, "You defeated the captain of the knights. You cast silent spells. Your power is great. I don't doubt you because I knew your father. But I have a request. I want you to help this city. Matias exhaled and asked, I noticed all the students use verbal spells only. Why don't they use silent ones? The headmaster replied, because that art has been forgotten. No one can master it anymore. The first academy of the kingdom controls all educational standards. They removed silent spells from the curriculum long ago. Matias asked, so what's the solution? The headmaster responded, we must win the upcoming inter-academy tournament. And to do that, we need you to teach the students and the faculty the art of silent spellcasting. We are all at your command. Matias agreed and began training everyone. The teachers gathered the students and introduced Matias as their instructor. No one believed it until one of the teachers demonstrated what he had learned. The students were astonished and quickly paid attention. Alma picked it up rapidly, hitting her targets with ease. The rest improved steadily, except Lori, who had depleted her energy. Matias approached her, took her hands, and she asked nervously, what are you doing? He replied, just transferring some of my magical energy to you. Once her strength returned, she unleashed a flawless attack. Her joy was overwhelming. But you must be wondering, how does Matias possess such power? Let me tell you, 5,000 years ago, a warrior with immense magical power walked the earth. Yet he was dissatisfied with the sigil of glory he bore, longing instead for the quad sigil. So he cast a spell that sent him 5,000 years into the future. That warrior is Matias. And now, let us continue our tale. 1 month later, the inter-academy tournament was upon them. Matias and the girls gathered at the rest area, analyzing their opponents. Lori said, I hope we win this year. We've lost the championship for 65 years, and every year our rivals grow stronger. Then Matias felt a dark energy and asked, what do you know about demons? Lori answered, demons no longer exist, and even if one appeared, no city could defeat it. Enraged, Matias stormed toward the battlefield. Something isn't right, he muttered. As he entered the arena, his opponents mocked him. A boy with the mark of failure. Where are your teammates? Did they flee knowing they'd lose? Matias didn't reply. Instead, he examined one of them closely and realized he wasn't human. He was a disguised demon. Matias glared and said, I'll kill you. The match began. The 3 opponents attacked, but Matias crushed them, one after another. Only he and the demon remained. The demon, now panicked, cast a silent spell. That confirmed everything, not just to Matias, but to the crowd as well. Matias launched forward again. The demon barely blocked his strikes. How are you this powerful? He cried. Matias replied, I'm not strong. You're weak. He surged his energy and unleashed a spell that forced the demon into his true form. Chaos erupted in the arena. The headmaster ordered an evacuation. The demon tried to flee, but Matias pounced, killing him in a single strike. Mages gathered around to confirm the kill. Lori rushed over to check on him, and something between them had clearly begun to blossom. Soon after, the king summoned Matias to reward him. The headmaster accompanied him and recounted everything. The king offered him a plot of land, but Matias refused. Instead, he asked for permission to enter the Damas, an ancient domain filled with treasures. The king was surprised, but agreed. Then he asked, what are the demons' next moves? Matias answered, now that we've defeated one of them publicly, they'll declare war. But don't worry, they'll need 3 months to gather their forces. We have time to prepare. The king asked, can you do it? Matias replied, confident and unwavering, 1 month is enough. The king was stunned by his boldness, but deep inside, he knew. This boy was the kingdom's only hope. It was decided that Matias would be appointed as the commander of the unit tasked with defense, then headed straight to the royal vault to retrieve some magical possessions that would aid him later in his missions. He acquired a magical sword and a pendant that grants him extra experience points from Damas. Afterwards, he approached the 2 girls to inform them of his intent to travel to Damas to increase his power. Lori and Alma were shocked, unsure of how they could assist him. At that moment, Matias proposed they join him in his adventures. Despite the girls' hesitation and fear that they might not be of help, he reassured them, saying, do not worry, I will teach you the art of combat. Lori and Alma grew excited and decided to accompany him. Indeed, they headed to Damas, and Matias began teaching them how to fight. He ran swiftly toward a small monster, brought it before Alma, and said, take out your bow and shoot it. She was surprised, but agreed. She focused her magical energy and easily eliminated the creature, astonished at how effortlessly she had slain it. Matias had her focus her energy even more, making her feel the connection between her and the arrow. When she released it, and thanks to his guidance, the arrow changed its trajectory and struck a monster hiding in a blind spot. This is because Alma is known by the title The Core, a specialist in archery. Matias suggested she intensify her training in that role, and she agreed, then began seeking other monsters to hunt. As for Lori, she became eager and said, teach me. He took her to a wall in Damas, shattered it, took a piece of the rubble, cast an enchantment that turned it into raw material, and began instructing Lori. She learned quickly, and he explained what was happening, saying, "Your crest is the crest of glory, and you possess the ability to forge weapons, in addition to casting spells, meaning you are an infinite source of weaponry." Lori grew more enthusiastic and began turning metals into swords. Alma returned after increasing her power, and was amazed at Lori's progress, all thanks to Matias, who had been training them. They then descended to the 10th floor, where Alma and Lori's strength increased to the point they were able to defeat a magical wolf that appeared suddenly. Afterwards, Matias erected a barrier to let the girls rest and said to them, "I will now descend to the 25th floor. You two, stay here." The girls were stunned by the number and exclaimed, "The 25th floor? We only reached the 23rd, and we had 40 adventurers with us." Matias replied, "Do not worry," and proceeded on his path, battling every monster that crossed him, saying, "It's still early, I must keep descending." He continued advancing until he found the element he needed. Then he noticed the presence of a powerful beast and said, "This is my chance." He approached the beast's lair, eliminated the weaker creatures around it, and revealed himself to the floor's boss, as if saying, "I'm waiting for you." The boss appeared and launched an attack on Matias, who dodged it. When the attack returned again, the serpent's saliva spilled onto the ground, corroding it. Matias said, "This is exactly what I wanted." He rushed toward the beast, sliced a part of it, and the creature immediately sensed danger. A fierce battle erupted, and with Matias's final blow, the monster collapsed. The strike was so powerful that the girls above felt it. They even thought an earthquake had struck. Even two demons felt the tremor, though they paid it no attention. Matias returned to the girls and showed them the monster he had slain. They screamed in horror, nearly fainting. He then carried the creature's corpse to the guild to claim his reward. When the guild girl saw the size of the beast, her face turned pale from fear. It seemed the guild couldn't even afford to cover the cost of that kill. So Matias took everything they had. "Couldn't you leave them something, man?" As he walked with Alma and Lori, they shared the spoils. Since Matias was fair, he divided the rewards equally. Everyone was happy, amazed at the amount of gold they had received. But suddenly, Matias sensed a countering energy. Alma and Lori also felt the danger and said to him, "Is it possible?" He replied, "Yes, there are two demons standing in the sky, and it seems they are preparing to attack." And indeed, they were there. One was named Asher, large and powerfully built, and the other was his servant, whose energy was weaker. Matias measured their powers and devised a plan. He told the girls, "I will face the strong one, and you two will handle the other." The girls were worried. They had never fought a demon before. But Matias encouraged them, saying, "You are now capable of facing them." The battle began. Matias flew using a flight spell and greeted Asher, who realized Matias had slain one of their kind, saying, "I will kill you now." But Matias observed his movements without showing the slightest concern. Asher attacked him with fire magic, which Matias countered, controlled, and returned, burning him in retaliation. Asher raged and chased after Matias to kill him. Meanwhile, Alma and Lori were distracting the second demon, attacking and weakening him. Matias noticed this and was pleased. He returned to Asher, who thought he had separated Matias from his companions, saying, "Prepare to die." Poor fool, he had no idea what awaited him. He lunged at Matias with full force, but Matias dodged with ease, then struck him in the back, causing him to lose balance. The demon tried to heal himself, realizing he was facing an extraordinary opponent. He attempted to fly away, but Matias electrocuted him. The demon trembled, gathered his strength once more to flee, but Matias activated a spell that paralyzed him completely. And just like that, Asher was rendered powerless. At the same time, Alma and Lori were exhausting the second demon, Alma striking him with arrows that disrupted his movement, both girls disorienting him in turns. Matias saw this and felt prouder than ever. He then turned to the second demon and forced him into submission. When the demon learned his master had died, he tried to escape. But where to? Matias pursued him, severed his wing, and finished him off as well. Thus, Matias and his team vanquished the demons, and soon their names would spread throughout the entire kingdom. People gathered around them in disbelief at what had occurred. Matias seized this momentum and flew with the girls toward the royal palace. They arrived before the king and recounted what had happened. The king offered Matias a reward, but he declined, saying, "It is not fitting for me to accept a reward every time." So the king allowed the girls to choose their rewards. Alma asked for gold. The king asked why, and she replied, "Money never loses its value and always serves a purpose." Impressed by her wisdom, the king granted her request, and Lori asked for the same. But as they sat there, Matias sensed someone watching them. He asked the king for permission and approached the figure, warning him, "Do you think I wouldn't notice you spying on us? Speak now, or I'll end you." The demon remained silent, so Matias struck him with a lightning spell. That's when the king recognized the voice. It was the captain of the guards himself, who turned out to be of demonic descent as well. Matias pinpointed his exact location, despite him being very far and hiding in a fortified place. But would that stop Matias? Impossible. He took the two girls to an abandoned place. They were startled and asked, "Where are you taking us?" He replied, replied, "Just wait a little, you'll see." They kept walking until they arrived. There the girls were terrified. A dragon stood before them. Matias stepped forward to speak to it. The dragon communicated telepathically and said, "Take one more step and I'll kill you." But Matias paid no mind and advanced. When the dragon tried to follow through on its threat, Matias casually dispelled its magic, leaving the dragon frozen in shock. He asked, "Don't joke. Do you know someone named Gis? Don't tell me you're him." Matias replied, "Yes, I am Gis, but that's just one of my incarnations." The dragon trembled, humiliation evident in its eyes, as if begging for mercy, remembering the past when he tried to challenge Matias and failed, and Matias had spared him and walked away. We now return to the present, where the dragon had realized her mistake and apologized for what she had said earlier. Matias promptly forgave her and explained the reason for his arrival. By the way, this dragon is named Iris, and she is in fact a female, not a male. Matias told her of his intention to travel to the land of demons to eliminate them, and asked her to serve as his means of transport. Iris agreed immediately, and a sense of peace and satisfaction filled the air. Matias then called for the girls and introduced them to Iris, and the shock was so intense that they nearly fainted. Afterwards, Matias used a spell to repair Iris's injured wing so she could fly swiftly. Everyone mounted her back, and they took off toward the demon's lair. As their journey was about to begin, a demon was watching everyone approaching the area, but Matias ambushed him from the sky and split him in half in an instant, without giving him the slightest chance to react. On the ground, Matias sensed a strange energy. He informed them that there was a weak demon inside the tower and a powerful one outside. They decided to storm the tower. Matias cast a spell to enable telepathic communication and explained his plan, giving Luri a special spell, instructing her to use it against the demon. They proceeded with the plan and stormed the location, but it appeared empty. Matias quickly realized the enemy was using a concealment spell and revealed his location to the girls. Alma aimed her arrow at the target. Although the demon was confident that no one could detect him, Alma's arrow struck him effortlessly. Shocked, the demon exclaimed, "How? I was certain my concealment was flawless." Matias replied mockingly, "Your camouflage is just as poor as your strength." Enraged, the demon launched a full-force attack. Matias effortlessly blocked every strike with precision, while the demon failed to even touch him. Behind him, Alma continued shooting arrows at his back. Though they had no visible effect, the attacks continued from both sides until the demon began to feel his movement slowing down. He realized that Luri had activated the spell on the arrows, one that paralyzes the body after a certain number of hits. At that moment, he understood his fate was sealed and shouted, "There's no escape!" Then he unleashed a powerful transformation spell that amplified his magical energy and changed his form entirely. The spell drained his life force but greatly increased his strength. He resumed his assault, forcing the students to flee. He believed he was catching up to them, but it was all a deception by Matias, who declared, "This is true disguise." He then ordered Alma to fire another arrow. It struck the demon directly, killing him instantly. Now only the powerful demon outside remained. Matias told the girls to sit on Iris's back and observe the battle from above. When they asked why, he answered confidently, "This prey is mine," as if they were mere sparrows, unworthy of concern. Iris flew them upward as Matias began his preparations for battle. He drew a magic stone and shattered its energy, flooding the area with blinding light. The girls were left in awe. Then he brought out 2 more stones and did the same. These spells were intended to force the demon to reveal himself. The demon emerged and said to Matias, "Well done, but you've dug your own grave." Matias replied, "We'll see," then cast a spell on himself. The demon attacked with all his might. It was a fierce fight, and Matias was injured, his arm severed. The demon believed he had won, but the arm reattached itself instantly, leaving the demon in shock. "Impossible. You're not human," Matias responded. "I let you hit me on purpose, so you'd realize how weak you are." He then struck the demon with his sword, and the effects of poison appeared on the wound. The demon began to feel the same symptoms that had afflicted his comrade before. The demon attempted to flee with a spell, but Matias grabbed him. He tried using a dispersal spell, but Matias interrupted it. The poison began to take effect. It absorbed magical energy from the surroundings and disabled the body's power. In a desperate final act, the demon absorbed a massive energy stone, causing his body to swell rapidly until he exploded like a balloon. Thus, another overwhelming victory was claimed by Matias. After the battle, Matias discovered a massive magic stone. It appeared to be the main objective of their journey. This stone would be used to create a barrier to prevent demons from entering the kingdom. They took the stone, and joy spread among them. On their way back, Iris asked Matias what would happen to her upon arrival. Would she be allowed to enter the city in her current form? He suggested she take on a human form and that he would bring her into his academy and personally care for her there. Iris agreed. They landed, and she transformed into a beautiful girl, or perhaps a naive one. That remains to be seen. They took her to the academy and asked the headmaster to allow her to join. He agreed on one condition: she must pass the magical entrance exams like any other student. Matias also agreed. but on the condition that he personally supervise the exams. Fearing that her power might spiral out of control, Iris began the written exam. And it was a disaster. She barely answered a single question. But during the combat test, she dropped her sword and rushed to pick it up. The Knight Commander seized the opportunity to strike her, but she caught his sword effortlessly and ended the match with a single blow. The final test was archery. The goal hit 5 targets. But Matias was more worried about the academy itself than about Iris. She released her first arrow, which veered off and nearly struck the headmaster and those nearby. She almost killed them all. The second arrow shot into the sky and nearly blew up the surroundings. The headmaster was on the verge of tears from her sheer power. On the final attempt, she followed Matias's advice, placed her hand on the ground, and destroyed all the targets at once. Actually, she destroyed the entire testing area. Terrified, the headmaster instantly approved her admission. From that moment on, Iris became a student at the academy. After some time, academy students began descending into the Damas region to mine the minerals needed to build the barrier. But due to the lack of students bearing the Medal of Glory, progress was slow. So, the headmaster of the second academy suggested merging efforts with the students of the first academy. However, the head of the first academy rejected the idea outright, claiming his students were elites and would not work under someone else's command. With no other option, the headmaster proposed a competition between the two academies. Whichever team won would have their decision enforced. The first academy's headmaster added a condition. Matias and his team were not allowed to participate, as he was well aware of their strength. The headmaster hesitated, but Matias reassured him, saying, "Don't worry, I trained them myself." The competition began. Students from the first academy arrived in large numbers, taking it seriously. Meanwhile, Matias's students numbered only 5. The headmaster of the first academy mocked them, confident of their impending humiliation. But the exact opposite happened. The 5 students used a silence spell and crushed all their opponents, reducing them to something like dough. Enraged, the headmaster of the first academy refused to accept the result and began cursing the kingdom. The king ordered his immediate imprisonment, and the students of the first academy were transferred to the second. Conditions improved drastically. With the students' help, resource gathering became far more efficient. Matias's team was now ready for advanced missions. He took them to deeper floors to train and develop teamwork. Alma and Luri were highly coordinated, efficiently taking down monsters. As for Iris, she had yet to master her power or even the basics of combat. Truth be told, every time she appeared, I couldn't help but laugh. They kept moving forward. Matias told them he needed a magic stone larger than 60 centimeters to build the barrier, but finding one required venturing into extremely dangerous depths, or they could summon a monster here and defeat it to claim the stone. They agreed on the second option and began the ritual. Luri drew the spell while Matias helped her, or took advantage of the moment. While Iris begins trying to power up the ring, she has no idea what she's supposed to do, so she pours immense energy into it. That girl is truly naive, my friends. As a result, a massive creature is summoned and obliterates the floor they were standing on. It turns out to be a gigantic dragon. Matias quickly devises a plan to defeat it, and they begin executing it. Iris distracts the dragon, while Alma and Luri shoot arrows at it, as Matias prepares the decisive spell to bring it down. The battle rages back and forth, here and there, until finally, Matias completes the spell and calls out to Iris, asking her to provoke the dragon into attacking them with its flames. She's confused at first, but she does it, and the dragon unleashes its fire with everything it's got. Right at that moment, Matias turns the dragon's power against it, causing a thunderous explosion that obliterates it completely. What a glorious moment that was. Iris retrieves the magic stone, and they're all overwhelmed with joy. Then Matias suggests she join them, and she loves the idea and agrees, as if she hadn't been part of the team all along. The group heads off to the academy to train and strengthen their teamwork. Matias sets up the training ground, and everyone begins taking responsibility. Iris amazes them with her synchronization and her attempts to adjust to her human form. Matias and Luri work on crafting weapons for the team to help them in future battles, and he teaches her how to forge them. Luri understands the method and begins crafting. The weapons are completed, and everyone takes their own. Luri is the first to test her weapon on a rock. It's shattered completely. Alma follows with her bow. Her power has reached a whole new level. As for Iris, she's given a spear that stores her energy. She charges at a rock and smashes it, and everything behind it too. That girl is a legend on her own, my friends. Then it's Matias's turn. He says, "All 3 of you, come at me," and they begin intense training in preparation for the upcoming demon invasion, with excitement surging through them all. The next day, the teacher gathers a large group of students and urges them to prepare. The demons are on the move. They head to Damas to gather supplies working together. Matias, for his part, transports metals to the sealing site. He seems incredibly busy. Meanwhile, Luri senses a demonic gate in the forest and informs Matias, who suggests they confront the demon that will emerge from it. Although the girls are scared, they've never faced a demon alone. He reassures them, "Don't worry, You can handle it now. The team heads to the gate and prepares. Luri readies a magical arrow before the demon appears. As the gate widens, the demon emerges and Luri fires, instantly taking it down. But the surprise, another demon appears. She fires again, hitting its shoulder but failing to finish it off. It charges at them, but Luri slices it in two. What a girl she is. The gate closes, and they confirm no more demons will emerge. The girls return to Matias and tell him what happened. He praises them, and everyone is thrilled. Suddenly, Matias senses demonic energy approaching the academy. Another confrontation. The headmaster and many students are already prepared, just as Matias had foreseen. Alma and Luri arrive too. The stage is set for a massive battle. A portal opens, and a demon far stronger than the others appears. He gathers his power and attacks the students with infernal flames, but to his shock, the students withstand the assault. None are harmed. Enraged, the demon lashes out, but the students' attacks don't affect him. Even Alma shoots an arrow, but he catches it. There's only one option left. Luri must craft a special arrow capable of piercing him. As the attacks intensify, she tries again and again, failing each time until she nearly gives up. But her teammates shout, "We believe in you. You can do it." Her spirit ignites and she gathers her energy. At last, she succeeds. She hands the arrow to Alma, who fires it at the demon. The demon tries to dodge it, but Alma brings it right back to him. She endures his counterattacks, and finally the arrow pierces through and finishes him. The first demon is defeated. Everyone celebrates, but the joy doesn't last. A stronger demon appears, and then many more. The battle is on the verge of becoming a massacre. The students freeze in shock while Alma, Luri, and others stand tall, ready to face their fate, even if it's their last stand. But do you really think any of those demons can do a thing? Impossible. Matias suddenly appears and obliterates one of them, then shouts, "Now, let's begin the real battle." He slaughters them. First, second, fifth, one after another. None can even touch him. He wipes them all out and lands among the students. What a moment of sheer power. Alma and Luri rush to him and hug him. Matias thanks them for their efforts, and everyone is filled with joy. Then Matias heads to the barrier site and finally activates it. Energy floods the entire kingdom, and happiness spreads everywhere. Alma thought the day was over, and she'd just have dinner and go to bed. But Matias tells her, that was just the beginning. The previous battles had drawn the attention of more beasts, and they must be dealt with now. The headmaster gathers the students, and they march to fight the beasts. A massive horde attacks, but the students have grown stronger and repel them with skill. Even larger beasts arrive, and then Matias and his team step in. He orders the headmaster to retreat, and he obeys. Who's the real headmaster now, I wonder? Matias throws Iris at a beast and she takes it out. Alma and Luri fight off two others and destroy them. Then a colossal beast appears and starts absorbing others around it. Matias notices and lets it keep absorbing, then tosses it an energy crystal and says, "Show me your full power." The beast consumes the energy and reveals its true form, a massive lion ready to kill anything. Matias forms a strategy and rushes into battle. Iris charges forward and slices its legs. The others join in, and the beast goes wild. They think they've won, but it's only the beginning. The lion regenerates and returns, as if nothing had happened. Matias braces himself and says, "Very well." He prepares an ancient spell and fires it, causing it to multiply again and again, until the beast can't take it anymore. Matias follows up with a final blow, decapitating it. And just like that, the lion is slain. Everyone stands in stunned silence, terrified by his sheer strength. Unbelievable. Afterward, Matias looks over the city from afar. He seems ready to leave. He goes to the academy director and tells him his intention. The director had expected this and says, "I have a better idea. I won't expel you. I'll offer you a scholarship. This means staying in contact while helping out occasionally in return. A mutual benefit." Matias likes the idea and agrees. But Luri is heartbroken to hear he's leaving, and she doesn't know what to say to the director. So the director proposes giving them scholarships too, and they all agree instantly. Matias and his team begin preparing to explore the outside world. And this is where the true fun of the anime begins, my friend. Once their adventure begins, Matias decides to visit a city built atop the Damas ruins. In his past life, he'd never heard of such a thing, and he senses something strange. They pass through a forest the girls are terrified of, known for its beasts. But who's with them? Matias, son of the Great Ones. They enter the forest, and Matias leaves the girls behind to handle the beasts alone. All the monsters fear him, except for one foolish monkey that dares attack. You already know its fate. Later, Matias brings them a wild boar he hunted. They cook a meal, and Alma ends up with soup that tastes like nothing. They continue their journey and arrive in Damas. There, they see something strange. A light post powered directly by something called a dragon vein, without a magic stone. It's on the verge of exploding. And it does, though thankfully, no one is hurt. Luri is furious and and confronts the vendor. Aren't you worried about people's safety? He tells her the ruler took all the magic stones from the posts and sold them, leaving the rest to explode among civilians. Matias suspects the ruler and senses demons control the city. He heads to the guild to investigate. The girl there refuses to register them because they're too young, but Matias persuades her. Before she finishes the process, a girl bursts in begging for help. Over 40 adventurers are critically wounded. She asks if anyone can use healing spells. No one steps forward, except Matias. He goes with her and starts healing everyone non-stop. He asks about the doctors, and the girl tells him the king fired them, calling them a waste of money. Enraged, Matias decides to save them all. He uses a spell to classify each case by severity, assigns a number to each, then heads to treat the most urgent. A doctor tries to stop him. You won't succeed. Don't waste your energy. But do you think Matias would ever waste anything? He replies, silence, watch and learn, and then heals the patient effortlessly. The doctor began to feel astonished and gradually convinced by Matias's words. He started listening to him and applying his instructions, even going so far as to treat cases according to the priority order that Matias had established. The girls also supported him, and together they managed to save all the injured without a single life lost. Oh, what greatness are we even talking about, my friends? Afterwards, the doctor approached Matias and expressed his gratitude, saying, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been able to save them. Thank you, and I apologize for my previous behavior. Matias responded with a smile. No worries, there's no need to apologize. Then they asked about the former king and the cause of his death, and the doctor told them he had died suddenly, with no known cause. But Matias sensed there was a hidden devil behind it all, and so they decided to head to one of the rooms to get some rest. They agreed that the next morning, they would head to the region of Damas, each one of them filled with resolve and courage. They slept through the night, and as soon as the sun rose, they set off for Damas. There, they eliminated nearly all the monsters and returned to the guild. The girl standing there appeared shocked, unable to utter a word. She asked Matias what had happened, and he simply replied, I didn't do much. The girls took down the monster. I just supported them. She nodded, then sent a report to the king informing him of the incident, writing in it that these girls were no less than monsters themselves, and that Matias was merely their assistant. The message reached the king, who clearly didn't bear them any goodwill. Meanwhile, the group was celebrating their success and eating together, but Matias noticed that someone was watching them. He realized the king had begun pulling his strings and that things were about to escalate. Matias slipped away through a side path and used a telepathy spell to inform the girls of the situation. He said, we'll first cast an invisibility spell to observe their reaction, and if we don't like what we see, we strike. Indeed, he vanished from the spot, startling the observers, who began searching for him everywhere, but to no avail. Then Matias appeared behind them and said, excuse me, I just wanted to confirm whether you were following me. Do you know where I live? They answered affirmatively, and that was all the confirmation he needed. The gang grew angry and seized Matias, relying on what the guild girl had written, claiming he was the weakest among them. They believed it and used it as an opportunity to treat him as a hostage. They threatened the girls, saying, if you care about him, you will carry out the king's orders. Iris calmly responded, understood. And then, 1, 2, 3, they had all been taken out. Matias then activated a tracking spell to locate the king. The following morning, the group received a message from the headmaster, summoning them to Damas to meet with a military officer sent by the king. The officer informed them that the ruler had ordered Matias to arrest the city's king for treason and for mismanaging the affairs of his people. Matias agreed, as it had already been his intention. The four of them set off with the officer to the royal palace, planning to storm it. But the king had prepared an ambush, hiding numerous soldiers in wait. Matias, however, saw through the plan and did not hesitate. He charged through the main gate. They were attacked by palace guards, but Luri stepped in to defend them. Matias unleashed his power and cleared everyone in his way, eventually opening the secret passage leading to the king, and they descended to confront him. The king, believing Matias had already been dealt with by his guards, was shocked to see him. He had even prepared a second trap of soldiers, but they were defeated too. The officer declared that he had come to arrest him for his crimes. The king began to deflect, saying, if anything happens to me, calamity will fall upon the people of this village, so be cautious from now on. Matias replied, very well, and rendered him unconscious. He then approached the flames and found a message revealing that the king had been in collaboration with demons, who had been supplying him with information to shield himself using special soldiers. But the question remained, what did the demons want from him? Matias discovered that the demons were after the dragon vein within the city. If they succeeded in obtaining it, they would collapse the magical barrier protecting the kingdom and trigger an explosion that would annihilate everything inside. The officer was horrified by the truth and decided to report it to the king, but suddenly, the ground shook, and panic spread. The demons had already tampered with the dragon vein and released hordes of monsters toward the city. Matias commanded everyone to remain calm and informed them they had 2 hours before the monsters arrived. They immediately set out to the dragon vein's location, where they discovered a demon manipulating it to send the beast toward the city. Luri began to neutralize his control, while Matias confronted the demon. Alma and Iris protected Luri from any incoming attacks. Matias looked the demon in the eyes and asked, "Are you the one orchestrating all this?" The demon replied, "Yes." Matias lunged, but the demon countered, deploying a barrier that would explode if struck. Matias realized this demon was unlike any he had faced before, much stronger, and seemingly receiving orders from another. He cast an eavesdropping spell and discovered the demon was being directed by a far more powerful one. The odds were not in Matias's favor. The demon launched a long-range attack, which Matias barely managed to block. He then communicated with Luri via telepathy, giving her 2 spell codes to prepare silently without the enemy noticing. Luri understood immediately and began casting. Matias attacked again, and the demon fell into the trap. Luri's first spell disoriented him, and her second spell severed his connection with his master. The demon panicked, and Matias charged in, but the barrier still remained. Suddenly, without warning, Matias had closed in just enough to disable the barrier. He had noticed earlier that it took half a second to activate, so he struck during that brief window and disabled it completely. The demon had no option left but to cast a self-sacrifice spell to kill him. But Matias didn't give him the chance. His head flew off in an instant. At the same time, Luri succeeded in breaking the demon's control over the dragon vein, and the monsters vanished from before the city. Matias then tried to trace the true leader's location, but to no avail, until a voice addressed him, "You'll never find me. Don't even try." Matias was stunned. This enemy was completely different from those he had faced before. He replied, "Get ready. Your end will come by my hand." Then the connection was cut, and the great battle was now on the horizon. Matias gathered the girls and told them what had happened, explaining that the demon's energy was immense and that he had recorded it into a crystal to help locate him later. Alma was surprised and asked, "How will we find him?" He told her of an ancient magical device he had invented in a past life, capable of locating the demon, but it lay beyond the kingdom's borders, and they would need the king's permission to pass. They returned to their city, where they met the headmaster, who appeared to be developing himself and expanding the school. Matias explained the situation, and the headmaster contacted the king and secured the needed recommendation. They obtained the letter, thanked the headmaster, and set off. They arrived in the neighboring kingdom, known as Radia, crossed its gates, and began exploring the area. But reaching the artifact wouldn't be easy. It required a magical rank of A or higher, and none of them had achieved that yet. Matias quickly devised a plan and decided to head to the guild to take the rank test. He said, "If we succeed, we'll obtain the rank easily, and if we don't, I'll make Iris pretend to be a dragon attacking us, and we'll fake a fight, sneaking in during the chaos." What a brilliant mind, that boy. They finally arrived at the guild headquarters, where the guild master proved to be very cooperative and agreed to let them take the test. But suddenly, while they were standing there, a man named Gale entered. It became clear that he had come upon hearing about Matias, wishing to be his examiner for the trial. From the very first moment, Matias sensed his strength and realized he was no ordinary man. The guild master addressed him, saying, "What brings you here? You shouldn't be the one to face them." But Matias responded confidently, "Don't worry, leave him to us." Then the two of them headed to the arena to prepare for battle. And to everyone's surprise, Gale turned to the girls and said, "You three have already passed the test. You don't need to fight me. He alone is enough." His enthusiasm was palpable. The guild master began telling the girls about Gale, saying he had never been defeated in any battle before. Yet the girls were unimpressed and responded with confidence, "Then today shall be his first defeat." Indeed, Gale launched an attack against Matias, his power immense, but Matias deflected his blows and analyzed them, clearly intrigued by his opponent's level. Gale, in turn, recognized Matias's skill and began to levitate in the air before striking with all his might, thinking he had finished it. But Matias remained completely unaffected. He countered immediately, landing a powerful blow that sent Gale crashing into the wall. At that moment, Gale understood the vast difference in their abilities and asked, "How can I become as strong as you?" Matias pulled out a spell book and replied, "If you learn what's in here, no one will ever be able to defeat you." Gale accepted this and thanked him. After that, they set off for the artifact's location, but Gale warned them, "Be careful in that region. It's extremely dangerous." Many entered and never returned. "If you sense anything strange, contact me. I'll reach you in seconds." Matias thanked him, and they continued on their way. At the city gate, the guards stopped them to inspect their guild license. They allowed them through, but Matias grew suspicious, and rightly so. The guards had cast an encryption spell on the license and sent a secret message ordering their assassination. Matias sensed they were being watched and devised a plan to deal with it. He handed Alma and Lori a sleep spell to use on the gang, while he and Iris would act as bait to lure the attackers in. The plan worked perfectly. The fools began firing arrows at Iris, but they had no effect on her. Enraged, she charged at them, but Matias stopped her, saying, "We're only putting them to sleep." And sure enough, Alma and Lori cast the sleep spell, and everyone was knocked out, including themselves, having forgotten to shield themselves. It was a hilarious moment. Later, Matias woke them up, and Iris had used the opportunity to doodle on Alma's face, teasing her. Then they reached the city's main gate, where Matias began inspecting it and sensed something was terribly wrong. He realized the city was under the control of 30 demons. He then discovered a hidden passageway and led the team through it until they reached the city center. There, a demon stood guard. Matias crept up, cast a sleep spell, and moved him aside, allowing them to advance. Once inside the city center, they found the people dazed and clearly manipulated. Matias stopped one of them and began recording what was happening. They then headed to the gathering site to uncover what the demons were up to. The team cast a defensive spell on themselves to avoid falling into the same trance, pretending to be like the others so no one would suspect them. They saw precious metals being collected, and the truth became clear. The demons were gathering rare metals to build a nuclear bomb, controlling humans like slaves so they wouldn't need to do the work themselves. Alma and Lori were furious at the sight and resolved to cleanse the city of the demons' evil and save its people. But how would they face 30 demons at once? That's when Matias declared with confidence, "Leave it to me." He crafted a plan to scatter the demons. Suddenly, a magical signal flared in the heart of the city, drawing the demons toward the source of power, and there, the team was waiting. The first to arrive were two demons who spotted Iris. Before they could kill her, Matias struck from behind and split them in half. The rest of the demons screamed in rage, but then, boom! Magical bombs exploded among them, their source unknown. It was a brilliant move by Matias, who had used Iris's magical energy to lure the enemies in, and anyone who got close to her was instantly eliminated. Their communication only exposed their positions even more. Alma and Lori concealed their magical presence and hurled spell crystals at the demons, making them believe the city was filled with traps. Meanwhile, Matias picked them off from behind. The demons started to panic, and Matias showed no mercy, wiping out 22 of them. Their leader began to worry, gathered his thoughts, and realized the trap. He called for the remaining demons and said, "We have to blow up the city to eliminate our enemies." The others agreed, but before they could act, boom! One of them was killed, and to everyone's surprise, it wasn't Matias who did it, but Gale, who had come to help. Matias was thrilled by his arrival. Gale quickly took down the weaker demons with lightning speed and left the leader to Matias. But Gale turned to him and said, "Don't interfere in this fight." The demon leader, furious, shouted, "Prepare to die!" And with explosive intensity, the two clashed, their blows thunderous and fast beyond belief. It was clear that Gale had grown immensely since his last duel with Matias. The battle raged on until sunrise, and finally, the last strike was dealt, and the victor was Gale. What a triumphant moment. Matias rushed over to congratulate him. Gale was exhausted, his bones broken, but filled with joy at having defeated the demon. But then, suddenly, the demon rose again, eyes glowing red, and launched another attack. But Matias blocked it. The demon spoke in a twisted voice, "My seal is about to break, and I will return soon to kill you all." And then, his body vanished completely. Matias realized it was the same demon who had spoken to him before. He felt the weight of true danger. After healing Gale, his strength returned. The townspeople, now freed from their trance, began to gather. Matias didn't know what to do with them, but Gale said, "Leave that to me." He then called upon the head of the city's guild and appointed him king of the city, saying simply, "Let's go." It was a surprisingly clever move. Matias bid farewell to his friend Gale and continued on toward the artifact's location. After a long journey, he arrived, used his power to open the gate, and descended to where the massive artifact was kept. He pulled out an item he had taken from the slain demon to confirm whether the demon that controlled him was the same one who appeared in the city of Melkia. He activated the artifact, and sure enough, it was the same demon. Then he pulled out a magical stone that contained the demon's stored energy and placed it into the device to reveal the demon's identity and location. The device glowed red, signifying that the enemy was immensely powerful. A figure appeared with an overwhelming aura. His name was Zardis, one of the most powerful demons in existence, perhaps the strongest of them all. For the first time, Matias truly felt fear. He said, "With power like this, we won't be able to defeat him. Even if we hid and trained for 100 years, maybe then we could, but if we do that, everyone will die, and civilization will be lost." His power exceeded all expectations. In that moment, Iris accidentally broke something within the ruins, and it sparked an idea in Matias's mind. He took a sword from Iris and placed it on the device to search for a specific blade he had forged in his previous life. The one weapon strong enough to face Zardis, and indeed it showed him its location. Surprisingly, it was already inside his own kingdom, returned at some point during one of his past missions. They mounted Iris and rushed toward the royal capital, but by that time the seal on Zardis had begun to break. He was about to move. Matias noticed his magical signal and realized he was coming. He ordered Alma and Lori to retrieve the sword while he would stall Zardis himself. The girls immediately agreed, though they were deeply worried about him. They finally arrive at the kingdom and rush straight to the vault to retrieve the sword as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, Matias had already begun preparing a counterspell to buy some time against Zardis. The question is, will he succeed, or is this the beginning of humanity's end? At the same moment, Alma and Luri were making their way toward the vault when they noticed the arrival of the demon. They turned to see his location, and Matias launched an immediate attack in an attempt to seal him away, but Zardis remained completely unaffected. Matias then ordered the dragon iris to strike him. The attack hit, but to no avail. Zardis remained unscathed, as if the blow hadn't touched him at all. His power seemed to exist on another plane. He tore through dimensions and unsheathed his sword, shouting at Matias, "Come on, show me the best you've got." He then charged at Iris with blinding speed, but the girl managed to block the attack using a punishment technique. At that point, the people of the kingdom had sensed the danger and rushed out to witness the battle. At the same time, Alma and Luri finally reached the vault, but the guards blocked Luri from entering. She was about to force her way through when the king suddenly appeared and ordered the soldiers to let them pass. The two girls lit up with joy. Meanwhile, Matias was struggling to block Zardis' relentless strikes, but he couldn't keep up. His opponent's speed was beyond anything imaginable. Matias was wounded, and the demon mocked him, saying, "Is this all you've got? I was hoping you'd try harder so I don't fall asleep from boredom." Back in the vault, Alma and Luri were desperately searching for the sword until they finally found it. They grabbed it and rushed out to deliver it to Matias, but by then, Zardis had realized Matias was trying to protect the city, so he decided to bypass the fight and strike the civilians directly to ruin his plan. He launched a sudden attack toward the city, and Matias could no longer defend nor counter. Zardis laughed and said, "You set up a barrier to protect the city from demons outside. But what about the ones inside?" And indeed, one of the demons that Matias had previously defeated reappeared, revived, and ready to kill Alma and Luri. But Alma was quick to react, firing her arrows at him, while Luri ended the fight with a single decisive strike. They ran again toward Matias, but another demon suddenly emerged and blocked their path, demanding, "Hand me the sword now." When they refused, he threatened to kill the nearby students unless they obeyed. The girls froze in place. It seemed like this could really be the end. At that very moment, Zardis explained to Matias that he had used a spell to resurrect the demons that Matias had previously slain, then launched a full-scale assault on the city. Matias tried to block the attacks. Iris was hit, but he managed to deflect the next strike, only to get wounded again. He could no longer fight. Alma and Luri finally surrendered and laid their weapons on the ground to protect the students. The demon stepped forward to take the sword. It seemed everything was lost, but suddenly, the headmaster and the rest of the students appeared and attacked the demon. Luri seized the opportunity and restrained his magical energy, while Alma followed up with a crushing blow. The situation was back under control, but Zardis continued his vicious assault on Matias, giving him no room to breathe. Matias had reached his limit, and so he bet every last bit of strength on Alma and Luri. He was struck again and fell to the ground, with Iris collapsing beside him. Alma and Luri arrived just in time. Alma hurled the sword to Matias, and he caught it at the last moment, but the demon took advantage of his turned back and pierced his heart with his own sword. Matias fell still, lifeless. Everyone thought it was over. Luri couldn't bear the sight. She broke down in tears, calling out his name with all her soul. And then, Matias's energy flared up once more, and he soared toward the demon to strike him down. The demon gasped, "How are you still alive?" "I'm certain I pierced your heart," Matias replied. "You did kill me, but that's the condition to activate this sword. When its wielder dies, they are reborn, with unimaginable power. And by the way, I let you kill me." Furious, the demon launched one last attack, but Matias had fully awakened. He struck him down with a massive blow that erased him from existence. At last, Matias had won the brutal battle. He descended to the ground, and Luri ran to him and embraced him tightly, saying, "You scared me so much. I'm really happy you're okay." Matias blushed, and the wound reopened, though this time it wasn't from a fight, but from love, my friend. The headmaster approached Matias to thank him, and everyone returned home to rest. Soon after, the king summoned them again, to reward them for their bravery. The kingdom's vault was empty emptied from the sheer amount of treasure handed out. The girls rejoiced, and peace returned at last. Later, they visited a treasure chamber filled with incredibly rare items and chose what they wanted. Iris picked out a beautiful gem and gave it to Luri, who stood in the corner shyly. Then, Alma walked over to Matias, whispered something in his ear, and his face turned crimson. That night, they all walked together. Under the moonlight, Matias called out to Luri and took her aside into the romantic night. He said to her, "Close your eyes." She did, expecting something else. But Matias was a gentleman. He gently placed a necklace around her neck. When Luri opened her eyes and saw it, she was filled with joy. "I'm so happy to receive a gift from you," she said. Matias smiled and replied, "What's coming next will be even better." And as the sun rose, our adventure came to an end, my friend. If you enjoyed this anime, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave me a wonderful comment. Just like you, until next time. And placed it into the device to reveal the demon's identity and location. The device glowed red, signifying that the enemy was immensely powerful. A figure appeared with an overwhelming aura. His name was Zardis, one of the most powerful demons in existence, perhaps the strongest of them all. For the first time, Matias truly felt fear. He said, "With power like this, we won't be able to defeat him. Even if we hid and trained for 100 years, maybe then we could, but if we do that, everyone will die, and civilization will be lost." His power exceeded all expectations. In that moment, Iris accidentally broke something within the ruins, and it sparked an idea in Matias's mind. He took a sword from Iris and placed it on the device to search for a specific blade he had forged in his previous life. The one weapon strong enough to face Zardis, and indeed it showed him its location. Surprisingly, it was already inside his own kingdom, returned at some point during one of his past missions. They mounted Iris and rushed toward the royal capital, but by that time the seal on Zardis had begun to break. He was about to move. Matias noticed his magical signal and realized he was coming. He ordered Alma and Lori to retrieve the sword while he would stall Zardis himself. The girls immediately agreed, though they were deeply worried about him. They finally arrive at the kingdom and rush straight to the vault to retrieve the sword as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, Matias had already begun preparing a counterspell to buy some time against Zardis. The question is, will he succeed, or is this the beginning of humanity's end? At the same moment, Alma and Luri were making their way toward the vault when they noticed the arrival of the demon. They turned to see his location, and Matias launched an immediate attack in an attempt to seal him away, but Zardis remained completely unaffected. Matias then ordered the dragon Iris to strike him. The attack hit, but to no avail. Zardis remained unscathed, as if the blow hadn't touched him at all. His power seemed to exist on another plane. He tore through dimensions and unsheathed his sword, shouting at Matias, "Come on, show me the best you've got." He then charged at Iris with blinding speed, but the girl managed to block the attack using a punishment technique. At that point, the people of the kingdom had sensed the danger and rushed out to witness the battle. At the same time, Alma and Luri finally reached the vault, but the guards blocked Luri from entering. She was about to force her way through when the king suddenly appeared and ordered the soldiers to let them pass. The two girls lit up with joy. Meanwhile, Matias was struggling to block Zardis's relentless strikes, but he couldn't keep up. His opponent's speed was beyond anything imaginable. Matias was wounded, and the demon mocked him, saying, "Is this all you've got? I was hoping you'd try harder so I don't fall asleep from boredom." Back in the vault, Alma and Luri were desperately searching for the sword until they finally found it. They grabbed it and rushed out to deliver it to Matias, but by then, Zardis had realized Matias was trying to protect the city, so he decided to bypass the fight and strike the civilians directly to ruin his plan. He launched a sudden attack toward the city, and Matias could no longer defend nor counter. Zardis laughed and said, "You set up a barrier to protect the city from demons outside. But what about the ones inside?" And indeed, one of the demons that Matias had previously defeated reappeared, revived, and ready to kill Alma and Luri. But Alma was quick to react, firing her arrows at him, while Luri ended the fight with a single decisive strike. They ran again toward Matias, but another demon suddenly emerged and blocked their path, demanding, "Hand me the sword now." When they refused, he threatened to kill the nearby students unless they obeyed. The girls froze in place. It seemed like this could really be the end. At that very moment, Zardis explained to Matias that he had used a spell to resurrect the demons that Matias had previously slain, then launched a full-scale assault on the city. Matias tried to block the attacks. Iris was hit, but he managed to deflect the next strike, only to get wounded again. He could no longer fight. Alma and Luri finally surrendered and laid their weapons on the ground to protect the students. The demon stepped forward to take the sword. It seemed everything was lost, but suddenly, the headmaster and the rest of the students appeared and attacked the demon. Luri seized the opportunity and restrained his magical energy, while Alma followed up with a crushing blow. The situation was back under control, but Zardis continued his vicious assault on Matias, giving him no room to breathe. Matias had reached his limit, and so he bet every last last bit of strength on Alma and Luri. He was struck again and fell to the ground, with Iris collapsing beside him. Alma and Luri arrived just in time. Alma hurled the sword to Matias, and he caught it at the last moment. But the demon took advantage of his turned back and pierced his heart with his own sword. Matias fell still, lifeless. Everyone thought it was over. Luri couldn't bear the sight. She broke down in tears, calling out his name with all her soul. And then, Matthias's energy flared up once more, and he soared toward the demon to strike him down. The demon gasped, "How are you still alive?" "I'm certain I pierced your heart," Matthias replied. "You did kill me, but that's the condition to activate this sword. When its wielder dies, they are reborn, with unimaginable power. And by the way, I let you kill me." Furious, the demon launched one last attack, but Matthias had fully awakened. He struck him down with a massive blow that erased him from existence. At last, Matthias had won the brutal battle. He descended to the ground, and Luri ran to him and embraced him tightly, saying, "You scared me so much. I'm really happy you're okay." Matthias blushed, and the wound reopened, though this time it wasn't from a fight, but from love, my friend. The headmaster approached Matthias to thank him, and everyone returned home to rest. Soon after, the king summoned them again, to reward them for their bravery. The kingdom's vault was emptied from the sheer amount of treasure handed out. The girls rejoiced, and peace returned at last. Later, they visited a treasure chamber filled with incredibly rare items, and chose what they wanted. Iris picked out a beautiful gem and gave it to Luri, who stood in the corner shyly. Then, Alma walked over to Matthias, whispered something in his ear, and his face turned crimson. That night, they all walked together. Under the moonlight, Matthias called out to Luri and took her aside into the romantic night. He said to her, "Close your eyes." She did, expecting something else. But Matthias was a gentleman. He gently placed a necklace around her neck. When Luri opened her eyes and saw it, she was filled with joy. "I'm so happy to receive a gift from you," she said. Matthias smiled and replied, "What's coming next will be even better." And as the sun rose, our adventure came to an end, my friend. If you enjoyed this anime, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave me a wonderful comment. Just like you. Until next time.